How's it going, everybody? We had a customer call and ask us to tune a Scalextric Trans Am car for them. So we figured this would be a good chance to make a video for you guys. It's just a basic tune. Super tires, silicone rear tires, and the slotted CH10 guide, and some free tuning that you guys can do at home. In the video here, this is the car on the track right out of the box. Just letting you know that we are not magnet racers, so it did take a little bit of getting used to, but as you can see, the car had some trouble getting around in the stock form. We were able to turn a 9.0, which for our no mag cars is probably an average time. So with the magnet, we really weren't going that much faster. So we'll get to tuning, and hopefully when it's all said and done, we've made up quite a bit of time and made our tunes worth the effort. So here we go. Here's the underside of the car, so you need to remove all 6 screws so you can get the car apart. There's 2 in the center, 2 on either end. On this car, the front silver valance is a separate piece. Here we have the car open, and what we're gonna do is remove all the wiring, leave the motor and magnet in place because that's what the customer wants. So here you have a little closer view of what the car looks like with the body removed. And here's the guide. I've already pre-wired it. It does not come with the wires, but I put them in already with the brushes and the eyelets to hold the wire in there. And we're gonna desolder the wires on the motor. Make sure you mark for the guide and the motor so you know which one goes where. And here you have the car with the wires removed, the guide removed, and you're ready to install the new one, which is pretty straightforward. You just put the guide back in, screw it in place, not to make it too tight because you want to make sure that the guide has free movement left and right. Now we're on to the trickiest part of the build. The chassis plays a role of the bushing, so to get the axle out is impossible without messing up the wheels. People say you can take them off and put them right back on, but I just don't see how. They're still going to be out around and not worth the effort at that point. So at this point, I'm going to recommend not doing this, but if you want your wheels to be true and get the most out of them, you almost have to do this. So what I do is I take my Dremel tool and I will cut a groove in the top of the bushings, just big enough so that the axles can just be pressed out just enough to get them out of there. So here's what it looks like after I cut the groove. You may have to use an X-Acto knife to clean it up a little bit, but you want to make sure that it's big enough to get the axle out, but not so big that it won't hold the axle in. I would not recommend doing this unless you're prepared to buy another chassis in case you screw it up. So now we got the axle out and we're on to the truing process. So I took these plastic bushings, since there are no bushings for the car, and I snapped them on the axle. By doing this, it will prevent the tire truer from being damaged as well as the axle. So never mind the dirty tire truer. So I have the axle mounted and I'm just using the sandpaper to go back and forth, and I usually go until the paint on the center rib is totally disappears. So as you can see here, we've made it all the way around. The rim's really smooth now and we're ready to go to the other side. If you don't do this, most of the time your tires are going to crown when you put any type of silicone or replacement tire on it. So you want to make sure that you do it to make it nice and smooth so you get a full contact patch. So on this one, the right side's completely ground down. So when I flipped it over to do the same to the other side, as you can see, there's still paint and it should have been looking the same as the one on the right. So I had to grind it down just a tad more, and then I flipped it over to the other side. Again, you don't want to take too much off or your tires aren't going to fit anymore. So now we have the tires mounted back on the wheel and ready to go on the truer. I super glue the tires on so they don't move during the tire truing process. If they slide around the rim during truing, you're not truing anything. So here you can see, obviously we're truing the tires now. In case you haven't noticed, we have an automated tire truer. There's a guy here in town that builds these for everybody, so if you need one, let me know. And we finally got the tires trued down. These had a lot of meat on them, so it took a little while. But you want to make sure that you put a radius on the outside of both tires, inside and outside, as to not catch on any track pieces. And this is what we use to apply the super glue, these little makeup applicators. You can get at any Walmart or CVS or whatever. Yeah, they look at you funny when you buy them, but it's cheap and it works. So here we are applying the super thin super glue to the tires. Just wipe it on, as you see there, and let it sit. And you may have to sand the tire a little bit. Sometimes the super glue leaves a little bit of rough edges, so just do a real light sanding. So you can see now that we've done our tunes with the super tires silicones, the guide, and truing up all the wheels, this car really hauls around the track. Our first out of the box was 9 seconds. Now we're running at 7 seconds. So you pick up 2 seconds just by doing those few tunes. So here's the finished product. The car sits nice and low. The guide sits deep into the slot, which is what you need for the best performance. And the tires are nice and round and ready to go. Here it is, boxed back up, ready to be shipped off to its new home, and hopefully it'll win quite a few races for the new owner. If you want to take it to the next level, you could build this bad boy. It has an NSR motor, super wheels, super tires, silicone, the slotted independent suspension, and the slotted CH10. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Please share, we appreciate it, and have a good day.